I was a wild child that my mother could not control or handle. So she continuously sent me away. And from ages 14 to 17, I remained in the state's custody. I was moved all over Georgia. I wandered from group homes to boot camps to wilderness camps. I met and married my first husband very quickly just to get away from it all. I thought I knew best and I was going to do things my way. The first night with my new husband, it was not what I expected. He slapped me over an argument, something about some cough syrup. I was forced to live in abandoned houses. While we were married, he didn't work. Neither one of us worked, really. I stole food from the local grocery stores for us to eat and anything else we needed. In addition to violence, addiction made itself right at home. Drugs were a daily part of our routine. In fact, my husband forced me to show my body to others in exchange for drugs. The drug usage escalated, and during one of his meth moments, my husband nearly killed me one night when he came after me with a knife. Thankfully, he was arrested and sent to prison, and I divorced him as quickly as I could. The next 3 months are a drug-addled haze to me. That's all I did, day in and day out. Now, I worked full-time at a nursing home and as a waitress part-time, all while high. How I kept those two jobs, I don't know. I just kept drinking and smoking and hanging out with as many addicts as I could meet. My second marriage soon came. It lasted only a year. We were both addicts, but the marriage came to an end when I found him in bed with my best friend. To drown out the pain and the hurt, I went to a party, and I never left for several months. I did everything I could to numb the pain. When I found myself pregnant and alone, I went back to my mama's house. I don't know why I'm surprised, but it did not go well. She wouldn't let me stay with her, so I stayed with her friend until I went into early labor. At 20 weeks, my precious first baby was gone. Pain had taken up a permanent residence in my life. I could not escape it. I met my last husband and we fell head over heels in love with each other. And he was a good provider, and I thought I saw a light at the end of the tunnel. We continued to party together for 4 years, and then we got married. We continued the drug use for the remainder of our marriage. Then the light really did come into my life, and I had my daughter at 24 weeks. Now, the drugs definitely slowed down, but throughout the marriage, we both continued to use and drink, he more so than I. And then I found out I was carrying my third baby. Unfortunately, at 22 weeks, I lost that precious child. That was 2017. After that, I continued to do whatever my husband thought was fun, and that meant a lot of consumption. In 2020, I was in our camper alone and had an encounter with God like nothing I'd ever experienced in my life. I knew God was calling me to Him and out of that mess. After that encounter, I quit my job and took my baby girl out of school. Over the next 11 months, God began to transform me through His words. I was elated. I was in love with Jesus, and it truly started my walk October of 2020. I went through my first deliverance on October 21st, 2021, and that's when the drug use came to an end. Forever. I've never gone back. I no longer wanted to get high. I just didn't crave those things anymore. I wanted to be close with my husband, but I could see a gap growing between us. He wanted nothing to do with God, and I wanted nothing to do with more those drugs. Eventually, I left him, took my baby girl with me. We moved to Chattanooga in 2021. During those 7 months, I found freedom, and I grew my relationship with God. I really wanted my marriage to work, and I was determined to do whatever it took to make it work. So in 2022, I went back to Alabama to try again. Over the next year and a half, things began to unravel, and I knew the end was coming. One day, my husband drugged my coffee when I wasn't willing to smoke with him. I watched him shoot up for the first time, and it broke my heart. He was slipping so far away. In my flesh, I wanted to stay and rescue him. God reminded me, it's not my job. I literally went toe-to-toe fighting all hell and the devil for my marriage. I had returned to Alabama with such fire in my bones, and I thought surely my husband would catch it too. But he ran the other way. The fire in me was snuffed out, and I started drinking with him, drugging me without knowing it, and discovering his adultery. That was the last straw, and I couldn't believe he would do such a thing, but that's how far addiction had dragged him down. It dragged him away from me. I knew it was coming down to me or him. I knew that it would be me that would survive. My daughter and I packed our bags and we made our trip back to Chattanooga in 2023. With tears in my eyes and my heart was so heavy. We made our way back here. I was grieving the loss of my marriage. I even continued to wear my wedding rings for a long time. It's been almost 2 years now. The divorce is final. The wedding rings have been laid aside. I've grown, I've cried, I've learned, and I've cried some more. There are people here that have loved me and accepted me right where I am. All my struggles and everything. Yes, there are still times where I'm struggling, but I'm not struggling with the drugs. I'm just trying to figure out what the Lord has in store for me and find my true purpose. I'm actively working on forgiveness and my self-worth. I remind myself each day that forgiveness is about me, for me. It's not about them. It's so that I will be free. I'm happy to help you through your healing journey as well. Please feel free to send us a message or leave a comment. If you're going through this, I understand. I've been where you are. And I know that there's help. We love you and we are praying for you.